tonight talking to Richard Hall, who runs the website richplanet.com. Richard, good evening again.
It's richplanet.net.
Oh, that's the one, yeah. I knew it was something like that. Let's not worry about that. richplanet.net. Now, Richard, you recently met David Cameron, and we're going to have a listen to what he had to say to you. Tell us about what we're going to hear then from David Cameron.
Right, well, can I give you a brief background of the political sort of side to UFOs, or the lack of it?
Okay.
Basically, you mentioned the Roswell event of 1947. Many people now believe that was a real event. Harry Truman, who was American president at the time, set up a group specifically to deal with and cover up that event, because he didn't want people to know about the technology. He didn't think people were ready for it. Now, in that group there were 12 people, and none of them were politicians. They were all physicists and people of that nature. And this was done specifically as a top-secret group to bypass the American government. So there was no politicians or anyone in Congress were informed of this. And this continues to this day.
Richard, what proof do you have of this?
Well, if you read Timothy Good's latest book, he basically lists all of the members of MJ12. A set of documents were released in the 80s, believed to be correspondence of the members within that group. So, there's two bits of evidence. Now, they also set up groups to investigate the UFO subject, both in Britain and in America. In Britain, they set up a group in the early 50s called the Flying Saucers Working Party. But throughout the entire time, that group, it actually had a hidden agenda. It was actually set up to debunk or play down the UFO issue. It wasn't really investigating it seriously. They were being lent on by American intelligence.
Okay, Richard, just explain to us then the question that you asked David Cameron, and we'll hear his answer.
I believe that we all have the right. That we all have the right to know about this, and that there is secret technology that needs to be revealed to the world. So I basically put the comments that Dr. Edgar Mitchell had made not long before then about there being extraterrestrial intelligence, about the fact that the Roswell event was real, etc., etc. And I asked him, I said, well, when you become Prime Minister, will you reveal this to the British people?
Let's have a listen to what he had to say then.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I told you I didn't plant the questions. I'm convinced we have been visited by alien life forms, and one of them is the Trade Secretary, Peter Mandelson. But quite seriously, sir, no, because I'm going to give you a serious answer. I'm going to give you a serious answer.
I don't want anyone to take the subject.
No, I'm going to give you a serious answer now, honestly. You can have the mic, after I've finished, you can have the microphone back. No, look, I think I have no idea whether there is intelligent life out there, and no idea whether any sightings that have taken place or incidents that have taken place have any basis in truth. All I know is I do believe in freedom of information and openness, and if this question has been asked from time to time of governments in this country and indeed in the US, and I think we should be as open and as clear as possible. What's tended to happen when people look at the Roswell incident, or people look at pictures and other things that have happened, is a rational explanation tends to be produced to try and show that it's not what those who believe in UFOs suggest. But I think we should be as open as possible. So I'd be quite happy to give you a guarantee that if I was Prime Minister, I would always be entirely open and frank about these things.
David Cameron there replying to Richard Hall. Richard, of course, runs the website richplanet.net. The thing is, Richard, you'd expect him to say something like that, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. And, I was standing, about 6 feet from him when he gave the answer, and it was clear by looking at his reaction that he's not informed on the subject. Now, he may have briefed himself since then. Now, again, speaking to Timothy Good, he believes the only British Prime Minister that has been briefed in an official capacity is Margaret Thatcher. And she was told by Ronald Reagan. Now, there was a book came out which explored some comments that Margaret Thatcher made on the subject, where Margaret Thatcher was asked about UFOs, and she's quoted as saying, "UFOs, you must get your facts right, and you can't tell the people." So she was basically quoting information that she'd been given by Ronald Reagan.
The thing is, Richard, why can't they tell the people? If this stuff is real, why can't they tell the people?
Yeah, and that's the question that everybody asks. Now, the fact that there is a cover-up means that I don't know everything, and therefore the actual reason for the cover-up, we can't be 100%, but we can guess at two probable reasons. The first is that those that are holding the information, that have the power, will lose power once it's revealed, because basically they're in a hole whereby they've kept this secret for so long. Once it's revealed, nobody will trust them. They will want rid of them. The other thing is that things like, let's just take the weapons industry for starters. Once it's revealed that UFOs are real and have technology which is massively more superior and capable than our own weapons, and our weapons are useless against them, what would then be the point of building up Earth's armaments if there's no defense against them? So there's just one argument. The other argument is related to the alien abduction program, whereby people are being abducted from Earth for the purposes of hybridization. And that is a fact which basically the powers that be don't believe the human race could deal with.
You know that a lot of people will find it quite difficult to believe this.
Yeah, of course I do. But, I mean, I would recommend that they go on my website, richplant.net, where there is a mountain of evidence, witness statements, researchers, etc., who, you see, the thing is, the same people that hold the power also control the media, so that the subject is not given a fair play in the mainstream media.
Richard, we'll have to go to the travel in a few moments, but just tell me now why you believe that some humans are being abducted by aliens.
Well, because there are thousands of cases worldwide that have been investigated where people claim to have been taken, and they have then been investigated, and they come back with scoop marks on their skin. Many people have gone through regression, and they all tell exactly the same story of their abduction experience. But
why are they being abducted?
They're being abducted because the aliens have a genetics program. So they are basically hybridizing human beings. Okay, so people are being born on Earth that are not 100% human. They have their DNA adjusted, and that adjustment is what's known as a hybridized being.
But what's the purpose of doing that?
To make the human race acquiescent to what they want.
Richard,
takeover of planet Earth.
Richard, we'll talk more in a second.